Yeah, we're exactly about an hour north of where she is, and it's been really interesting to see. I want to show you some of the remarkable things. If you head over to this gentleman's house, he's been clearing some of the stuff, whatever he can grab out of his house while he's been sort of parked out in front here. Look at the construction. I mean, this is so close to the center of the earthquake and also has been hit by a tsunami, and yet it's largely intact. I want to bring Anna Karin in. She's been here since yesterday, really digging through with some of the folks who are looking for bodies. It always surprises me when you see how high that water line is. Maybe you can get a shot of that, Mark, to see really how intact the house is and how much damage there is to other houses.
It is amazing. We were with a military team yesterday, and they were basically going from house to house, trying to find any survivors. I mean, that was the hope here. It quickly became apparent that this was not a search and rescue operation. They were here to recover bodies, and that's what they were doing. They were pulling people out of these houses like this one. And, you know, a lot of these people are elderly. And from the people that we've spoken to who managed to get out in time, you know, they say that they had half an hour between the time that the earthquake hit to when that wall of water just roared straight through here. So, you know, for the elderly who were on ground level, you know, standing where we are standing, they would have just got, you know, swept up, carried away.
It's about 1 kilometer, I believe, to where the sea actually begins, and so it rolled all the way in and then even further in.
That's
How
right.
many bodies were they able to recover, roughly? Do you know yesterday?
Yesterday, a couple of dozen here. Yeah, but it's just one of those things. It just is going to continue as they are able to access these small towns, you know, smack bang on the village. You know, death toll is definitely going to rise.
Does it feel like it has... there's a plan? I mean, as we've been watching some of the people come through, it doesn't seem like they're systematically going house to house, block to block. It's sort of a grid system. Sometimes you see the self-defense forces sort of start here and then kind of move over there. Have you noticed any kind of a plan? Have they told you about that?
No, they haven't told us about a plan. I mean, yesterday that they came in here and they were literally going from street to street. So, you know, I think they're trying to get through every single house that they possibly can. We spoke to one man, actually, who was like that gentleman we just saw. He was going back to his house, and he said that he clung onto the roof. That was the only way that he was able to survive the tsunami. It just rolled straight through, and he was just clinging on for dear life, praying that, you know, he would survive. And he just said he was one of the lucky ones, whereas we spoke to another man who said, you know, his neighbours are gone. He can't find them.
You said this is an elderly neighborhood. Have they talked at all about what will happen next? I mean, I talked to a man who was in his mid-60s who was sort of trying to figure out, you know, do you bother to rebuild at that age? He lives with his mother who's 87.
Yeah, I know. You look at this and you wonder how it is possible for these people to rebuild. But, you know, a gentleman that we spoke to, he spent his life here. You know, he's 65 years old, and you know, he said, this is my home, I have to rebuild. So, you know, you look at this and the building is standing, but there is just debris absolutely everywhere. And as you go further towards the coast, I mean, it is just an absolute mess, you know.
Right,
yeah, totally.
All right, Anna Karin, thank you for the update. Appreciate that. So, Anderson, you see a couple of people coming through on bicycles and cars as they try to pick up, you know, blankets, mostly pillows. I've seen there's not a lot to save inside these homes. You've seen very similar things in the wake of a hurricane or other tsunamis that you've covered. Not a lot to grab, but people coming in getting what they can before they head back to their evacuation center. They're really now hunkering down and spending the night. Anderson?
Yeah. Soledad, we'll check back with you shortly. Soledad was talking about the search and rescue teams. We're seeing numbers of search and rescue teams from all around the world coming in. When I flew in yesterday into Tokyo, there was a team from Taiwan that had just flown in. A team from the United States flew into northern Japan earlier, I believe from Fairfax County, Virginia, well-known search and rescue team. And as we saw in Haiti, what they like to do is basically make grids of every neighborhood and assign one team to a particular grid, and that team is responsible searching every street and every structure in that area. But that takes time and it takes organization. It may not be the point, to Soledad's question, it may not be the point where they're organized enough to really kind of section off each team, because they're getting more and more searchers, they're getting more and more military personnel, Japanese Defense Force personnel on the ground here every day, and frankly every couple of hours. So a lot still left to be searched. A lot of these villages still left to be searched. We're going to take you to one village coming up shortly, Gary Tuckman, right after the break, where they believe that as many as 9,000 people may be missing. We'll have Gary's report in a moment.
primary component. A 420-mile journey through heavily populated areas. Lots of risks.
A song by Paul Beckman. A song created March. Let's see, March 13th, 2011. Using the guitar chords C, D7, and G. This song is going to be called Only 30 Minutes to Get to Higher Ground. You only got 30 minutes to get to higher ground. You only got 30 minutes to get to higher ground. Once you hear that tsunami warning and earthquake warning system take off, you only got 30 minutes to get to higher ground. Well, unfortunately, those on the ground floor of the elderly on the ground floor, many of them perished. Unfortunately, there wasn't enough time for them to get out and go where they ought to have gone, so they perished. Oh, what a shame, shame, shame it is. And to have to rebuild when you're 50-ish, 60, 70, 80-ish, or 90. Oh, what a shame, what a shame. Some have lived in the village all their life. Now there's no more village, right? Next they're gonna take a gander at 6,000 missing. Was it 6 or 9? Well, have you ever seen such devastation? Reminds me what the dinosaurs might have gone through once. Cataclysmic changes around the earth, on top and inside, and in the universe, well, they abound. What's gonna be the plight of humanity? Are we gonna be able to survive and multiply plentifully? Or are we gonna take the route of the dinosaur and be lost forevermore? Well, the earth can really show her impact, can't she? Best not to take her for granted. Respect the earth and love her, and in situations of emergency use your head.